There, we live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Strictly Sports. I am B Wise,
Now,
Hey, your boy Trigger.
and we are here with another episode. How y'all doing today, fellas?
Oh,
stuff.
fantastic, fantastic.
So,
Finally getting settled.
settled in. We here. Everybody here. Let's talk about these NBA finals. Um, let's start it off. Let's rip the band-aid off.
I'm so disappointed in the Dallas Mavericks. I thought this was going to be a series. I thought it was going to be competitive. Luka Doncic's out there crying to the refs. It's. I mean, in Boston, they look like such a better team. Like everything is clicking for them. Like everything looks effortless on offense and defense. They are making them guys suffer. The Mavericks have to work for everything, and I just feel like Boston has exposed them, man. And I never felt like Dallas was a championship contender. Even when they made the finals, I was kind of like, okay, there'll be competition for Boston, but I never envisioned them being like I never saw them as a championship team. And I picked them to win it because I felt like Boston was going to crumble. I felt like they were going to choke and give it away. But I always felt like Boston had a better team than Dallas. They had a better team than pretty much anyone in the league this
Yeah.
year, honestly. But yeah, I felt like Boston was going to do Boston things and lose a couple games at home, and that'll be enough for Dallas to win the series. But they haven't done that. As a matter of fact, they made Dallas look like they shouldn't even be there, and they made them look like the team that I thought they were before the season started, or when they got Kyrie and paired him up with Luka. Because the way Luka played last night when Kyrie had the hot hand, that's exactly what I was expecting to see. Like clearly Kyrie is in the zone to carrying this team. Like I feel like he should have got the ball a little bit more. And there were times where I feel like Luka would come down and he was, trying to match Kyrie or trying to get his that he just, pretty much took Kyrie off or whatever, or just put him on the back burner and try to do things himself. And you get a lot of forced shots, and turnovers. And it didn't do the team any favors, man. And outside of those two, like who else really stepped up so far this series for the Mavericks? Nobody. So, I mean, yeah, I think with them, their run to the finals, they had good matchups. They had success against some teams along the way that I think were good for them to play against. And clearly, they are overmatched by Boston. Obviously, with Boston being up 3-0 right now, no chance in hell Dallas wins this series. They're not beating the Celtics 3 times in a row, or 4 times in a row. I'm sorry, and I wouldn't be surprised if Boston ended this thing when they play again Friday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think
So yeah, I think I got this one over tomorrow, man. I thought I was gonna go 7. I thought Dallas would win the series at 7, but uh, but yeah, they're about to get swept, and it's not even funny. I hope they get swept so I can stop watching. It's just it's been completely one sided, completely one
Dallas winning
sided.
them
And
all.
Jalen Brown deserves to be. What you say?
I said Dallas gonna win them all. NBA ain't gonna have the
For
finals
what?
over in 4 games. NBA ain't gonna have the
For
finals over
what?
in 4 games.
Delaying the inevitable. I mean, they're trying to win get a couple more games, just so they can make a couple more dollars. It ain't worth it. Anyway, just go ahead and hit this, eat that loss, and just get on with life. Like the Mavericks look like they have no business being in the finals right now. They look completely overmatched and confused. No continuity, no kind of rhythm, nothing. They just look like they're out there just shooting and hoping. And it's not
Is it?
working. It's not going to work against a team like Boston. You got to get quality shots. You got to be ball movement. All 5 guys got to have boots on the ground, ball in, ready to go. And right now, I can't tell who's invested, and who wants it, other than the Celtic players, because everybody on that team is doing what they're supposed to be doing without Kristaps Porzingis, by the way, in Game 3.
Yeah.
And Boston had a 21-point lead and almost let it get away, and they still won. As a matter of fact, Kyrie and Luka both had weren't they both over 20 points at halftime, and they only had a 1-point lead. That was a bad
Yeah.
sign for them too.
They started good though.
Yeah, they did start good. They did start good, but they only had a 1-point lead at halftime, and Boston was playing like shit, and their best players was giving them everything that they had for just a 1-point lead. And I was like, that's not a good sign for Dallas. Not a good sign at all for them.
I just see a stat where, and I mean, I don't know where they get these stats from, but Luca's blow by percentage is 69%, which
I
is
believe
been
it.
the highest. So In the finals, it's 69%. The first round, it was 59, and then in the conference semi, it was 65. Those are the three highest in the last 10 postseasons.
I
He
believe it.
has the last three highest.
I
Like,
believe it.
I know he's hurt. I know he got well. I think he got his leg. He got leg injury because of his weight. But Trey, you athlete. When you're on the court and when you're on the field, it don't matter.
Yep.
Hmm.
If you
So
suit up, that
you
means you
know,
ready to go.
I mean,
100% or
but it
not.
looks it looks like he's not even trying to play any defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he won't play nothing to begin with anyway. So I was like, but it goes back to what I was telling you guys. When we were talking. The best players out there, man. The guys who can fill it up on the stat sheet when it comes to scoring. I mean, they typically don't play great D anyway. I mean, you name all the great scorers in the league today: Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, um, Kevin Durant, uh, Kyrie, Luca, Jason Tatum. He's not a great defender either.
For
Uh,
real?
I don't think he is.
Didn't he make all defense, all NBA, all defense 1 year or something like that?
Maybe I'm not sure, but I don't look at him. He's long and athletic. That makes up for a lot of stuff though. But I've never seen Jason. I've never seen him. Like, oh, Jason Tatum locked him down. Like, plus he's not guarding the other team's best player either.
Well, yeah, I know that. Well, I could have sworn he made an all defensive NBA team.
He probably did, but again, I don't look at him as a two-way player. I look at him
Uh,
more as an offensive guy, which is
You
which
know
is
who?
cool because you got other guys on your team that assume that role, right? Every basketball team, especially every good team like the Celtics are, they have guys, one or two guys who can go lock down the other team's best player. You got Drew Holiday, Al Horford. I think even at his age, he's a great post defender.
uh-huh.
Porzingis, obviously, when he's out there, he's defending the paint. 7'3", using that length, that size. And then you got Drew Holiday, who they brought in to replace Marcus Smart, which I thought was great because not only can he do what Marcus Smart did defensively, but he can also give you an offensive boost too. Because he led the team in scoring, was it in game two?
Hmm.
Yeah, he led Boston in scoring in that game. So he's a great, I wouldn't say a great two-way player because he's not offensively consistent all the time, but he's gonna pour in some points. He's a threat. You can't forget about him, and he can stroke the three as well. So, but Boston has all the pieces, man. They got guys who can lock down on D. They got guys who can score, and they got a good bench. They got guys who can come in off the bench, and they come in and give you points here and there to give you a boost. And that's what you need. Those are the ingredients to win an NBA championship. A team that plays defense, guys who can score consistently, and you got a good bench, and obviously a good coach to lead the way. You got a good system in place. You got chemistry, all those other intangibles that you can't really teach. That comes with winning. Comes with a winning culture. So the Celtics have
Drew.
definitely got it. They've been in contention the last 5 or 6 years. As long as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been on that roster, pretty much they've been
Yeah.
a threat. But this year, I think the pressure was on them more so than previous years because of the roster that they have. This is probably the best team that they've had assembled in all the years that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have
What's
been
going
on
on,
the
Lady
team.
Ray?
This is
Uh,
definitely their best roster. They're
Drew
all around
Holiday and
roster.
Derek White, second team all defense.
Okay.
Yeah, Derek White is probably one of the best shot blocking guards in the league. For
Trigger,
some
you know
reason,
who has
I
the most
mean, Jason
consecutive
Tatum.
defensive teams right now?
who that?
Bam Adebayo. He has 5 in a row.
Well, yeah, he gets selected for that every. He was in the running for defensive player of the year this year too, and uh, he didn't win that one. But they gave that to Rudy Gobert, who got embarrassed by Nikola Jokic in the playoffs this year. But
He
you
always
know,
gets embarrassed on D. I don't understand. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, he gets a lot of rebounds and he blocks a lot of shots. I get it. So did Wimby. He should have been in the conversation. I think he should have got it honestly, because I think his stats were a little bit better than
Yeah.
Rudy's. Some of his stats were, but because he can score too. Uh, I know that got nothing to do with defense, but still, I think he's a better all-around player than Rudy is right now as a rookie. Um, and he's just going to get better. But
You sound
anywho,
like Draymond. You sound like Draymond.
but anywho, Boston has the most complete team right now, and even without Porzingis, Horford fills in nicely. He's not as big as Porzingis is, but he can still space the floor because he can shoot the three as well. He's a great post defender, and he can block shots and get up there. He gets rebounds, all
Yeah.
those things too. And he's also been there with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for a little bit too. So he plays well with those guys. There's a chemistry there. So he's been a nice feeling. So they're not missing the beat without Porzingis because Horford is picking up the slack. He's doing more than what they could ask out of him. So yeah, this team obviously without Porzingis they can beat anybody. They definitely can beat Dallas. You know, if you get Porzingis back and he's at full strength or he's even 70 or 80%, you know, they can win this game on Friday. So, but yeah, I hate to say it. You know, I hate that the finals weren't as competitive. Uh, but Boston looks like they're on the verge of getting this sweep, and I, for one, will not be upset at that because somebody please end this already. Put me out of my misery watching these finals games. I expected so much more from Dallas. I thought they were better than what people projected. Nobody had them in the finals coming out of the West, and they get there and then they just completely wet the bed, completely wet the bed. And all this is done for Luca. I think it hurts his legacy a little bit because he's putting up the numbers,
Getting
but he's
beat.
also the complaining and the whining to the officials has become magnified in the finals. And I always say that about certain players. Like certain guys do things all the time. Like this is nothing new with Luka Doncic. Like he always seems to be looking for a call or arguing with the refs every time something doesn't go his way. Right? A lot of NBA players do it. Jason Tatum is another one. He's pretty big about doing that. That's one thing I hate about Jason Tatum. It's like every time he goes to the hole and he misses a layup, he feels like he got touched, and he's looking at the refs. He's looking for a call so to get it back on D. So Luka ain't the only one, but when you're on the final stage, you're the only two teams in the league that everybody cares about. You're the only ones on TV now. You're getting all the media attention. A lot of things that you've been doing may not have gotten talked about before, but now it becomes magnified.
Yeah.
And this issue that Luca has with the referees, it's taking center stage. And, sadly, it has outdone his his play. Like we talk more about him arguing with the officials and why his team is losing versus how he has performed. Like his numbers haven't been terrible by any means. However, Luca is, you know, with this thing with the officials, man, is starting to get out of hand or has gotten out of hand. And I feel like he's looking, he wants the officials to give him a call. And, they're looking at it and they're like, nah, buddy, we're not just going to give you anything. You got to earn these calls. So,
I just I know we say you sacrifice offense for defense or vice versa, but I don't know, Trick. That's a lot.
And
That's a
didn't he
lot.
foul out last night too?
Yeah, he fouled out last night.
yep.
That's what they call.
And
He
he
was
had a
like
lot of,
T told him to challenge it. He yelled to the bench like challenge the call.
yeah, and then, and it was the right call because, that was one of those calls like,
His feet
well,
was
you
moving.
foul out the star player and, you know, you lose, the fans lose out on who they paid to come and see. And it
Yeah.
is, it's like the Final Four with we saw with Iowa and that whole illegal screen call with South Carolina or whoever it was. Same deal there. Late in the game, it's crucial I
We
think.
can't hear you,
They
Trigger.
showed the replay and Luca was not set. Any other time that would have been a foul. So that I think the referees called and unfortunately it was Luca's sixth foul. Yeah,
It's breaking up, Trigger. Hello, Trigger.
I'm
Trigger.
here.
Trigger might be frozen. All right, Mars. What's your take on it as the referee call?
I'm like Trigger. I had Dallas at 6. I thought it'd be a lot more competitive. Obviously when it was in Boston, Luca, Kyrie did not show up. Well, Kyrie did not show up. Um, but I'm just amazed. Just a lot. I know Luca was never known as a great defender,
Yeah.
but he's not even trying, bro.
Yeah.
That is just that's what blows my mind. It's just the lack of effort. Like, Kyrie's not the best defender. He may get lost at times, but he's trying. Luka's
Right.
not even trying. Um, and then he'll get blown past, and then he's yelling at his teammates like, "Motherfucker, you the one guarding him."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we be scrapping, bro. We be scrapping. But that's what JaVale McGee was saying. Like, it's things that you can do and all that kind of stuff, but it's like he's not trying to get back. He's like he's just not in the right place. He looked lost out there. I think that's more what it is for me. Is just seeing him look like you don't even know what you're doing.
Right. So when you first start out becoming an official, they sit there and say that the number one thing to say is to give effort. Even when you don't know what the hell you're doing, if you
Yeah.
give effort, it look like you know what you're doing.
Yep.
And that's why I think it's fly. Even if you don't know what the hell, what type of defensive scheme, if you just run around like you know what the fuck you're doing, all right. But he ain't even trying.
That's rough. So what happens here? Is that is does Dallas have what do they need to do? Go get defenders? Like
I think they got a good. I mean, they might have to get a little more offensively. You know, Luca, it can't be Luca, then Kyrie, Luca. You know,
yeah.
but I think defensively fine is just Luca just gotta fucking be better. Like I mean, ain't no excuse. This ain't football. You're playing more than one position.
Yeah.
Like move your
Yeah,
goddamn feet, man.
I also think maybe if Kyrie shows up in game 1 or game 2, that maybe this is a 2-1 series and not a 3-0 series. If Kyrie shows up for one of those games in Boston, I think
Yeah,
they definitely
possible.
could have got one on the road had he
Yeah.
played better.
I think Dallas is gonna win this next game, and they're gonna go back and they're gonna finish in Boston because I think I don't know. Some is telling me they want to have the championship presentation in Boston, and we can't have a sweep. We can't have a
So
sweep.
you into that
Nostalgia.
conspiracy theory?
I don't think it's because
Bill Walton died, and then they want to have it back in Boston doing tributes. And nah, so that in the script.
yeah, it's the script. It's going. I don't.
Man, whatever with this script nonsense. Now go Boston. If you out there, you listening in this game, in this series in game 4, put them out their misery.
Who's the refs for tomorrow? Let's see. Oh, they don't got him up yet, but I don't know. It's just tough. Let's see what Lady Ray is saying. I want the sweep. It ain't got to be in Boston for me. If they get swept, I'm gonna feel kind of cheated because you gotta rather have the Timberwolves or the Nuggets there because I feel like they wouldn't get swept. But
Yep.
Dallas beat those teams, so it's like maybe
Yeah,
they would
and
have got swept.
sometimes in basketball it's all about who you match up with too. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like those teams should be Dallas, and Denver and Minnesota, but they didn't. And for whatever reason now, I guess Boston's got the scheme and they doing what they're doing and it's making life hard for everybody on the Mavericks. So
Because the Mavericks was talking, they was lob, it was the new lob city and all that kind of stuff before this, but now I ain't heard a lob or nothing like that. Is it just Boston's
yeah, I
playing
mean
sound
they were
defense?
Because
throwing it.
Porzingis back.
Yeah, they were throwing it to them big guys out in the paint, man, and they were just dunking all over people in the other series, but ain't seen that much against Boston.
Yeah,
So
Porzingis was he hurt. He had a rare injury. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but they ain't need him. But Boston to go up on you 21, 25, and then let you come back in the game for some reason. They did it against Indiana in that series.
yep, they're going to do that now. They quick to get up 20 and blow a lead if there's time left.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know that one. But yeah, I mean Boston. I mean they're a good team. I mean they've been great all season. They've been shooting the 3 ball well. They've been playing well. They got guys who play great defense. They got consistent scorers on offense. They got a great system in play. I think the pressure was on them this year to win it all because of the team that they assembled, the guys that went out and got in the postseason
Yeah.
last year and free agency, and they got Drew Holiday via trade. Um, so yeah, the pressure was definitely on them after last season coming up short against Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals when everyone had them coming out of the East. So
Right.
yeah, they came back and righted the ship at least in that aspect of getting back to the NBA Finals for the second time in the last 4 years, and now they got an opportunity to put it together. They have a golden opportunity. And history says that they should win this series. No team has come
One
back from a 3-0 deficit. They almost did last year, but undefeated, up 3-0 in the series. No team in NBA history has ever lost. So,
158
even
no.
though this is a
158
little,
over.
even though this is a little
Trigger out there with the people in the hills got eyes. Hills have eyes out there. All right. So y'all saying the series is gonna be over
get
tomorrow?
that out the
Oh
way.
y'all want what happened?
Oh yeah, I think it's over tomorrow.
I don't know yet.
I mean, looking at Dallas last night, as a basketball player, let me tell y'all something, man. Do you know how heartbreaking and heart wrenching it is to be down 20 points, to come all the way back and still lose? You put all that energy, that effort in. My stars done played their best games. I done put out my best effort, and I still lost. That carries over into the next game. We've already seen that earlier in the playoffs with the Indiana Pacers. Game 1 of that series. What happened at the end of that game? Indiana's
Right.
right there. This game right here. If Indiana wins that game, that would have been a more competitive series, and maybe they even win that series. But the fact that Jaylen Brown hit that shot that he hit and went to overtime, from then on, right there, Indiana was never the same team. They ended up getting swept. Of course, they lost Tyrese Halliburton a couple games later, but they ended up getting swept. And I think that play right there set the tone for that series. And I go back to the Miami Heat Milwaukee series, first round, 2021 playoffs. Same situation. The score is tied. Miami, has a chance to win the game in Milwaukee. Game 1, still a game on the road. Spent all that energy. And Chris Middleton hits a crazy shot to win the game. Miami never recovered. They lose that series 4-0. So those plays have impact going into future games in the playoffs. And those plays affect you mentally. They affect you. Whether people want to believe it or not, they get into your psyche.
Yeah.
They live in there. They dwell in there. And the whole team gets affected by it. And it's like a disease. It's like, it's contagious. Everybody starts to feel it. And then before you know it, it becomes the team's makeup. And that's how they carry themselves going forward. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas came out completely flat next game if they got blown off the court because of
Lady
that.
Ray said this is why I said the brim is coming out. I think Dallas. Well, y'all know I sent y'all the script of how it was gonna happen. Boston,
Mhm.
Boston, Boston, Dallas, Boston. It's going 5 games. Boston will win 4-1.
I
You
don't
heard
know.
it here first.
I think after last night, I see a sweep. Now, would I be surprised if the Mavs won? No, but I think a sweep is. I just think they finished, man. After watching that game last night in the second half, even when they came back and made it interesting, I mean, they were working for every single shot.
Yeah.
Like everything just was contested. They had no open looks. They were making extra passes because of the pressure and turning the ball over. And just, they just completely messed themselves, man. They had a chance to come back and win the game
That
after being
mess
down
themselves.
21. Yeah, I mean, basically, that's just me putting it nicely. They messed
They shit
themselves.
themselves, Trigger. They shit themselves.
They did.
They
I
shit
was
the
trying to
bed.
be PG. I was trying to be PG, my brother. I was trying to be PG. Kids out there watching and stuff like that out there. But
They
anyhow,
shit.
yeah. But yeah, they took a boo boo, big boo boo, and not the solid kind. I mean, it was runny and like smelly, and seeping down their legs and all that kind of duty. That's what I saw. That's what I smelled. So, but yeah, that's what Boston did, man. That's what Boston did to them, and I just like I said, man, I've seen it. I've been in the situation. Like they just looked defeated to me. They looked like they
Yeah.
didn't have an answer for what Boston was doing. So I'm like, why not just go back to Dallas on Friday and just win it right there on their home floor?
Trigger, tell me you got two small kids without saying you got two small kids. But look, I'm
You're
about
right,
to head
my
on
brother.
out, y'all.
All right,
You're right,
brother.
my brother.
All right, y'all.
Later, later.
All right, bro.
All right.
What the hell happened to my screen?
All right, Trigger. Moving forward, because let's talk about
Oh. All right,
it.
what you got?
NFL. You saw the
NFL.
news? Trevor Lawrence.
No, I didn't see that. I've been missing ESPN notifications too, apparently.
Trevor Lawrence. Let me pull it up. I know it was 142 guaranteed. Um,
The Jaguars actually doubled down on him.
yeah, 200 million fully guaranteed. It was 142 million fully, and then he got 200 million in guarantees. I think it's 275. I'm pulling it up now, but he's making 55 a year. What's your thoughts?
55?
$55 million a year.
Oh my God. This deal Dak is gonna get is gonna be outrageous.
Let's see, where is he at? He's $55 million a year. Like I said, um, 275 million. That's Jordan Love probably about to get the same. So let's see. Trevor Lawrence will make 275 million in the next 5 years alone. Elway made 45 his whole career. 5 year, $275 million contract, 200 million guaranteed, 100 and fully 42 fully guaranteed.
Wow.
So yeah, like you said, and that's what I wanted to touch on. Dak Prescott. Let's see. Boo. Lady Ray saying boo. That was for Moss. Because he gone. He left. Well, let me pull this off. And let me go through this. And well, let's do that. So yeah, he got 155 million a year. What you think that coming in at?
Hmm.
60 million? I've been saying 60 million the
It's,
whole
it's
time.
got to be 60 because if Trevor Lawrence is getting 55, he's got to be 60 because I think he is a better quarterback than him. Yeah, it's
And that,
minimum. That's where the negotiations go start is at 60, man. Oh my
yeah.
God, I hate it.
And CD, we
CD Lamb
and
about to get 40 million.
then think about Mike. Mike is gonna get 40.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
That's
Oh,
$140
okay.
million. I'm gonna pull the Chick-fil-A cup out of it. That's $140 million trigger right there. That's half the cap. I mean, we know
Yep.
you can play the game. You can play the cap game. We all know you can play the cap game, but
Right.
that's still a lot.
Yep.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot. Yeah, man. I don't know. When I
And
see
that
these
was
other guys getting these deals and at the same positions as my quarterback and my defensive end or linebacker, whatever you want to call him, my wide receiver. The Justin Jefferson deal definitely doesn't excite me. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence. I already know Mike is going to be expensive, so like we can pretty much project right now what Dak and CD are going to get based off of
oh,
Trevor Lawrence and Justin Jefferson's deals. Um,
I mean, you can say let's see, top NFL. So we know Patrick is still up there with the almost a half a billy, but Trevor
right.
Lawrence is tied for second now with Joe Burrow. Um, and Patrick Mahomes only has 63 guaranteed at signing. Trevor Lawrence has 142 million guaranteed at signing. With
Mm.
all the other bonuses and everything, he got $200 million guaranteed. Um, whereas Dak Prescott is 13th on this list right now. Nick Bosa is 12 at $170 million value, $34 million average salary with 88 guaranteed at signing, 122 million point five fully guaranteed. So at 34 million, I mean, Micah's probably gonna want every bit of 37. And he deserves. I mean, well, I don't know. You a Cowboys fan, you can say he deserves it or not.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to go by regular season numbers, the stats don't lie. Um, they say Reggie White is the only other defensive end or player at his position that has had 12 plus sacks in his first 3 seasons with the
Yeah.
team. So I mean, you can't obviously discount that. It's just when you look deeper into it, those sacks, are they coming when it don't matter? Are we getting them when the game's on the line? Like, He tends to kind of do all that on the front end of the season. Like the last 4 or 5 games, he kind of disappears. That's been a trend at least the last 2 seasons, I
Yeah,
remember. Uh, so yeah, it's all well and good as long as he's getting them, But when we need one more most, is he coming up big? I always tend to see Nick Bosa, you know, affect guys. Miles Garrett come up in big moments. T.J. Watt, Pittsburgh. I think he's the best
hmm
defensive end in the league, in my opinion. I
yeah.
see him make big plays in big spots all the
Aaron
time.
Donald in the Super Bowl.
Aaron
Aaron
Donald,
Donald,
yeah, you think about him, yes, absolutely. I know he's kind
end,
of
but
a different breed, but still, he's dominant. He's dominant. I just haven't seen it from Micah yet on a level um, of consistency that I need to say, okay, yeah, he deserves. I think he truly deserves the money. Same thing with Dak. Like he puts up great numbers, especially last season. I think in my opinion, he should have been MVP. And I know that might
yeah.
be surprising to some people because I'm so hard on Dak, or any Dallas Cowboy for that matter. But his numbers were good enough to be MVP, I think. And he played like it. But if you look at the playoffs, completely different from what he did in the regular season. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we can pay him, for how he does in the regular season, but we ain't winning no championships. We're not even winning playoff games with the S. Not even one game. Can't get past the second round. Like that's the issue. And you're making or about to make 60 million a year. Like to me, that just don't. I just don't
Hey,
feel good about that. I don't feel good. I don't feel good about anybody making a bunch of money and they haven't really done much in the league as far as giving the team a return on their investment, which would be championships or championship appearances or conference championships. But
has
you're not
Herbert
just
went to
getting
the
there,
playoffs? Did
huh?
Herbert go to the play? Herbert ain't been to the playoffs, has he?
Yeah, he did. They went.
He did.
They lost to
Okay,
Jacksonville last year.
that's
Remember?
right.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that
was
was the year
there. They
before
were.
last.
Yeah.
That was the year before last because
Oh
that's when
yeah,
they
yeah,
threw.
yeah.
That's
You're
when
right.
Trevor
You're
threw the
right.
4 picks.
Yeah,
And
because they had what they were up. I think 17-0, something like that, and
yeah,
then they lost the lead.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so they've been. But yeah, it's like I like Dak. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he deserves to get paid, just not as much as they say he should, in my
But it's
opinion.
this year is going to determine, and that's why I think that's why I tell y'all I think Dak is going to ball out. Y'all going to go what
Hmm.
14-3 and go to
Yeah.
the conference championship, and
Well, yeah,
Dak's going to put up 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns,
yeah,
and
and typically when contracts on the line, we seem to see the best from certain players.
not
Because
you
they
giving
want
him a
that
pay
money.
cut. Trigger.
They want that money. Um, Oh yeah, I mean, because it's ridiculous, because you think about the guys that Jerry has not. If it was just him, then yes, give him 60 million. But you got Micah, you got CD. There's gonna be some other guys coming in behind them. Like these guys who we just drafted, but
Around
if they
Bland,
turn out to be superstars, yeah, we're paying them down the line. Like you gotta have money to pay these guys who want them to stay together.
yeah.
And I wish a lot of these guys took the Tom Brady route. If you want to win championships, you got to sacrifice a little bit of money for that to happen. Because you can't pay like there's not a lot of teams where you got one or two guys making half the salary cap, and that team is winning championships. If a team
Or
is
do it
putting
like
all
Patrick
their,
Mahomes did. I'm sorry, go
huh?
ahead. Like Patrick Mahomes spread it over 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Like it looks big on paper, but if you really break it down, he's not really getting paid a ton of money given the time. 'Cause it's
Mhm.
very team friendly. So,
His cap
but
hit is 45 million right now. That's Patrick Mahomes. That's $45 million cap hit.
mm, yeah, so like I say, like you can't put your whole cap into one or two guys on the team because now you're short yourself of getting any resources to bring guys around you that can help you elevate your team and get y'all the way y'all need to be. Like with Dallas, the whole issue has been putting talent around Dak because he just seems to can't do it without the guy. Like we seen some quarterbacks do more with less, and we seen quarterbacks that obviously need superstars around them to be good.
Yeah.
And Dak is one of those guys that he needs superstar players around him to be good, and that's just how it is. That's just how it's cut. It's not his fault. Like that's just yes, he needs these guys to elevate him. And if he don't have CeeDee Lamb on that field, is not going to be good. Brandon Cooks, he came into his own towards the back half of that season last year. He's kind of I don't know what the team was doing with him. He wasn't really featured in the offense a whole lot, or wasn't getting a lot of looks. But he started to come to life a little bit in the second half of the season. Started to be more of a factor. So, with him and CeeDee Lamb out there, they're good serviceable targets for that. Like they can definitely boost him and help him, get his numbers up. But without uh, CD and just Cooks, like who's the next option? Jalen Tolbert. Like
Yeah,
who else is coming in? Like we did draft a receiver, but like we drafted him in what, like the fifth round, fourth, fifth round. Like it's not a guy that's gonna change life. That's why wish they would have got one, in the second round, third round, somewhere up in there. They could have got a better bargain player, I guess, better talented player. But I don't know. We'll see how this thing shakes out. CD Lamb is currently holding out.
y'all got
Dak's playing for a new contract. Mike McCarthy's playing for a new contract. Micah's holding out. I mean, it's just a mess right now in Dallas.
y'all got Dak is last year, DeMarcus Lawrence last year, Brandon Cooks last year, Zach Martin's last year, Trey Lance, CeeDee Lamb, Osa Oduzowe, Cooper Rush, Chauncey Golston, Deshaun Wright, Josh Ball, Israel Makamua,
Yeah,
Eric Kendricks,
and Zach Martin may retire after this season.
yep, Jordan Lewis, Peyton Hendershot, Cavante Turpin, Marquise Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, Hoffman, Wheat, Thomas Goodwin, Davis, Singh, Freeman, Rico Duato, that's your guy, Trigger. Damian Wilson and Tyron Johnson is y'all contracts that's going to be up at the end of 2024.
Yep,
And
a lot of
then
people.
2025, y'all got TJ Bass,
Jerry Jones' name on that list.
Brandon Aubrey. Y'all gonna have to pay him some money. I mean, Justin Tucker made $6 million, making $6 million. Eddie Pereira on a new contract.
Yeah, if Brandon Aubrey continues to kick the way that he's been kicking, he definitely will get paid. Probably the highest paid kicker.
That's $7 million a year then.
Yeah, so yeah, he'll definitely get paid for what he's been doing because the dude has been automatic.
Yeah. That's
Give
what
it his
Eddie P
background.
said. I'm top three. Eddie P is top three in field goal percentage. He said, I want to get a contract. He didn't go. He had a mandatory, but he didn't come to volunteers. He said, I want a contract. That's really he's trying to be number one. But I mean, he only can kick within 55 yards, though. That's why we have an issue.
Huh.
So,
how about that?
I mean, he good though, but he hit him except for those two in Atlanta that he missed back to back. But we ain't gonna talk about that. But
you can get some
after
off
that
the
Hail
chest.
Mary,
You sound a little.
that's the DJ Moore Hail Mary from PJ Walker, and he missed the extra point. And then we had to go to overtime, and then we had a chance to win in overtime, and he missed it. I think they was both 38 yarders and in. I'm just like, come on, bro. You trying to get paid $5 million, $6 million? That's why we drafted the thicker kicker. But I also, this year especially, I think you're gonna see a lot of teams carrying two kickers because kickers gonna have to make tackles this year. Because now with the new kickoff rule, kickers are gonna have to make tackles.
Yeah.
If you break past that initial line, you just gonna have a kicker, and that's what Justin Tucker was talking about. I had to get beef up because you're gonna be in UFL. They were in 25% of the plays, so now it's look at destroying messes his neck up to making a tackle. So it's now are you worried about losing Brandon Aubrey trying to make a tackle because Xavier Leggett broke it on a kickoff? But then some teams are saying, hey, we'll just take it and let them get to the 30. So this is going to be a new year for the NFL, I believe. And like you said.
So you got a phone case from there too? He's with all the.
So I think that I think it's going to be a good year for us. Carolina Panthers going to the playoffs, chat. Just let y'all know. Carolina getting 10 wins. We're going to the playoffs. I'm about to see. Don't say here we go. My bad, Tree. I had you muted.
But no, you good.
Don't say here we go. Carolina going to the playoffs. You can see it on my 9 wins. Panthers 9 wins. That's what I want you to know.
Lady Ray, they're going to the playoffs.
Vegas had us at 4.5 to start the year. Now we at 5.5. let me see how training camp goes. I'll see for sure, but I think I think we can get 9 wins, and I think 9 wins in the NFC South get you in the playoffs. I think 9 wins in a lot of division is going to get you into the playoffs this year. If we want to be honest,
Yeah.
if we want
No,
to
no,
be
you might be
truthful.
right about that. The Cowboys might get 9 wins and get into the playoffs. The wild card.
Well, the way they got what's his name, Jaden Daniels seen in Washington is the second coming. He got perfect accuracy.
Yep, that
Uh,
boy, he's gonna scare me. He does scare me actually.
uh, they saying Caleb. I be hearing Caleb look good. Then I be hearing Caleb look bad. I don't know what they. I don't.
Yeah, I don't really
You
know
heard? I don't,
what to make of that situation. Honestly, I just gotta wait and see how
you
that looks
saw
because I've seen
Keenan
stuff
Allen
say that he threw like a bunch of
7 picks and
interceptions
got
in training
benched.
camp and then they
Yeah,
benched him or something. Like I don't know if that's true or not because I haven't heard anybody else talk about it and I researched it. I didn't really see a whole lot on it, so I don't know if that's really. I think some people are just saying that just to kind of because people don't like him. They he rubbed people the wrong way, so they just make up stuff about him that isn't true. Which that happens sometimes, but
Keenan Allen. I saw him catch a pass from him. He was like, "Oh hell no!" Like the way it was. I seen some like. I think
yeah,
it's. We'll
didn't hear
see.
about that one.
We'll see. I need Bryce. Bryce, I just need 3 plays from you a game. Hand the ball off to our 14 running backs, our 13 tight ends, and our 600 receivers, and we'll be all right. I'm just worried about our pass rush, but I hear everybody say pressures count more than pass rush. I mean sacks. Pressures are more important than sacks. So
Yeah, because I mean they're just as good as a sack in some cases because you pressuring the quarterback and you make him throw that ball before he wants to get rid of it. That could cause some turnovers or some misthrows to happen. And like I said, it's just about as good as a sack. The only thing about it is you don't hit him behind the line of scrimmage and cause a loss
yeah,
of yards, but you force an incompletion, you force a turnover, which is even better than the sack.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it does matter. Pressures do matter.
All right, Trigger. I got one more topic, and I think we'll be wrapping it up. If you want to get into it,
Yes, sir. What you got?
your y'all 8 game winning streak was snapped.
8 game streak was snapped by the L.A. Dodgers. Yes, you are correct. And I think it was a great challenge for the Yankees. I watched all 3 games against them. I watched all the 4 against the Royals as well.
Mm-hmm.
Saw we lost today. Clay Holmes.
Oh, I
Anyway,
thought Maul said it was snapped. Well, something was snapped today. Or was that y'all winning streak? Was y'all on a winning streak?
well, we won 3, won 4 in a row actually because we won 8. We lost 2 straight to the Dodgers. Then we won the last
Yeah.
game of the Dodgers series. Then we won 3 straight against Kansas City. So and then we lost earlier this afternoon, 4-3. We were up in the
Dodgers beat
ninth
y'all
inning.
last week.
We were up in the ninth inning once again, and Clay Holmes gave the game away, which he's done a couple times now.
I keep hearing Clay Holmes' name come up. Are you worried about Clay Holmes going forward?
I am, I am, because again, the stats. We were talking about earlier. The sacks. Michael Parsons has. Dak, the numbers he puts up during the regular season, how those numbers all look great, but how are they coming? Right? Are they coming when in the playoffs? Are they coming in clutch situations when the team needs it most, time and time again?
Yeah.
Same thing with Clay Holmes. His numbers have looked very good, but I think, in my opinion, that's partially been because of the defense. He's not out there striking dudes out. He's not out there. Dudes are hitting him.
Yeah.
They're hitting him, and guys out in the outfield are making plays to kind of save him and keep his numbers the way they are. Like his numbers have been off the charts. If you look at, he's one of the top closers in the league. He has a lot of saves this year. And again, even the ones that he does have, he has been successful. I think the defense has boosted him, and the offense has done enough to, give him a lead to where he doesn't have to stress as much at the plate or at the on the mound, getting out of there with the win. But the situations where it's been tight, I feel like he's crumbled, like every time. Like last night, we walked into that. Earlier today, we walked into the ninth inning with the lead, and then we didn't have it. We lost on a walk off, a walk off double. So And we only given up. We were up 3-2. We were up 3-2, and then he gave up 2 runs in the ninth. And it was like the Mariners series. A couple weeks back when we walked into the ninth inning, we were up 4-1, and he gave up 4 runs before they pulled them. They ended up losing that 5-4, I think.
He played point two of innings pitched June 13th, which is today. Maybe is they
hmm
still playing or are they? I don't know. But 3 hits, 2 runs,
Yeah, this was early
two
this
errors.
afternoon. Yeah, it wasn't even a full inning.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, 2 outs, and again, they scored before he could get the third out and lost the game. So yeah, he gave up 3 hits. In the little bit of time he was in, gave up 2 runs, and the Yankees lose.
he got
But yeah,
31 hits on the season and 29 strikeouts in 30 innings pitched.
yeah, he scares me. Again, the numbers have looked good, but I think it's been, if you magnify it and you really look at the details, I feel like it's been other factors around him that have made those numbers look like they look. Because I'm not seeing it like in the situations where I need him to be clutch, the situations where I need him to go out there and actually save us when we're in a close game, not when we're up 5 runs.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not seeing the consistency out of him that I feel that I need to be seeing out of a guy who's built to be the closer that he is. This guy's on the ballot to be an all-star in the all-star game. But like I said, I just don't get the feeling about him. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm tripping or overreacting. But watching him pitch in the situations that we're in, when things are tight, he seems to be tight. And when things are more open and we had a nice cushy lead, there's been situations where I still seen him fold. But I just don't. Again, I don't get the feeling I get about him that I do with other closers in the league. So,
and y'all hitting
but
Aaron Judge and Juan Soto leading the league.
yes, they are. Aaron Judge has been on an absolute tear here recently. I mean, he had a very, very slow start to the season. I think he was batting like 170 at one point. Now he's up to about he's over 300
302,
now. Yeah,
302, and
just
Juan
over
Soto at
300.
320.
Yeah, Soto has been pretty much over 300 the entire season. So he's been our most consistent batter when it comes to the batting average. We've had a couple guys kind of go back and forth between 300 and like 290. Um, and we had other guys kind of hovering around like 23, 22, 23, 25, somewhere in there. But this is the first time this season that we've had Judge and Soto hitting over 300. There are only two players on the roster right now that are hitting over 300. Everybody else is in the twos. Thankfully, no one's
Judge,
in the ones except maybe DJ LeMahieu, who just came back. So we got to give him a little bit of time.
Judge
Um,
got 21 doubles, a triple, 25 home runs, 62 RBIs. Uh,
yep, Judge leads the major leagues in home runs.
Soto got 17.
Yep, Soto's not too far behind him. But there was a tear there. Judge went like 5, 6 straight games where he homered at least once. Uh, it's been great. It's been nice to watch, honestly.
Y'all got a pitcher in the top five as well.
Luis Gill,
Yep.
yeah, he's been the Yankees' best pitcher so far this season. And
And
I say
three in the
Carlos
top 15.
Rodon. Carlos
Yep.
Rodon is a close second behind him, but you can arguably say they're 1A and 1B. But those two guys, when they get on the mound, I feel really good about the Yankees' chances of winning the game. Now everybody
According
else, we had the best
Stroman and
starting
Rodon.
pitching.
Stroman's up above him in the stats by one. It's 13 and 14.
Oh wow, yeah.
And
But
ERA.
I would probably take Rodon over Stroman though, because I just, again, watching them play, I feel like Rodon coming off an injury. This is the season that he's having right now is the season that we were looking for last year when he signed him. But it was an injury-plagued year, and we really didn't get a chance to see him at his full potential and at full strength. So this year he's finally put it together. He's had time to heal up, get right, and he came into this season, into the preseason, working on some things, and it's carried over and translated to the diamond after the season
Yeah.
started, and he's been pretty consistent since. But I take Rodon, Luis Gill, they both lights out pitchers. Stroman's okay. He has his moments where I feel like, he just kind of all over the place. He just, just kind of loses control a little bit of his pitches, walks a bunch of guys. but he doesn't get a lot of strikeouts. But he does throw guys into like pop ups
Ooh,
and ground outs and stuff like that, which is just as good in my opinion. I don't think you have to get a bunch of strikeouts to be a good pitcher. As long as you get them out, that's the goal.
Luis Gil got
Um,
90 strikeouts.
yeah,
Rodon has
that's one of the tops of the majors.
74 and Stroman has 58.
Yeah, so again, I put if I had to rank the Yankees pitchers from who I like the most to who I like the least, it'd be Gill, Rodon, Stroman. Smith's been hurt, but when he's in there, he's usually pretty good. Poteet has filled in nicely for him though. Uh, he's the only Yankees pitcher on the roster that doesn't have a loss in the loss column this season. And then
Garrett Cole's coming
Cortez.
back.
Cortez is dead last. I hate him.
Dang, sure.
I hate him. I
Hate's a
hate him. I
strong
hate him.
word. It's a strong word, Jig.
He to me, he's like he to me is the equivalent of Clay Holmes, the starting pitcher. Like if he's on the mound, I get nervous. He was the pitcher who started on opening day against the Astros and gave the Astros 4 runs in the first 2 innings. And I thought, here we go, same old Yankees, right? And then the bats came alive. Forgot we had Juan Soto, and they came out and rescued him. But every time Cortez pitches, I feel like it's an L for the Yankees. Like I think he's the only starter whose record is under 500. Like he has more losses than wins. Everybody else is over. Like they have more wins than losses. He's the only one on the roster that has more losses than wins, or he might be
Tyler
even. I
Glass
don't know.
now, 116 strikeouts. Let's see.
Yeah, that man's a different. He's an animal. He pitched it against us in one of those 3 games that we played in, and yeah, he like that.
Let's see. So of y'all pitchers this year, Rodon's 9-2, Luis Gil's 8-1, Stroman's 6-2, Smith is 5-3, Weaver's 4-1, Cortez is 3-5, Poteet's 3-0, Gonzalez is 2-1, Santana's 2-0, Nick Birdie 1-0, Jake Cousins 1-0, Caleb Ferguson 1-3, Clay Holmes is 1-2, Lasenga is 1-0, Marcio 1-0, Tonkin 1-1, Andrews doesn't have one, Beater is 0, Cabrera 0, Gomez is 0, Ian Hamilton is 0-1, and then no other one is registered.
Yeah, so for the 5 starting pitchers that you named, Cortez, like I said, only one who has more losses than wins, 3-5. Everybody
And
else is got more wins.
his 3.5 ERA. Let's see, 80 hits, the most hits, 35, the most errors, the most home runs, 80 strikeouts is good, and his WHIP is 1.12.
So the hits and the home runs and all that stuff, I'm not exaggerating. That's like I said, I watched every
Yeah.
game this season, so and he
His
scares me. He
his
scares me,
batting
man.
average against is .240, and that's Cortez.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He scares me, man. He does.
Compared to Luis Gil is one. Luis Gil's .137 average against, his WHIP is .93, 90 strikeouts, 35 hits compared to 80, 18 runs compared to 36, 17 errors compared to 35, 5 home runs compared to 12, and a 2.04 ERA. So his ERA is like 1.55 higher than Luis Gil.
Yeah. See, that's and I don't crunch all the numbers like that, but just the eye test, just watching them play, I'm just like Cortez, man. I feel like he gave up too many hits, he gave up too many home runs, and I never went to go check to see how many he gave up. But listening to you read off those stats just confirms what I've been watching and
Yeah.
how I feel the way I feel about him. Like I said, man, I feel like he takes the mound and it's gonna be an L for the Yankees. Only starting pitcher, like I said, has more losses than wins. So if Cole comes back and they bump somebody from the starting 5, because I know some people online have been clamoring for, hey, just do a 6-man rotation, so that way we can give our guys who came off injury, an extra day of rest last season, and Cortez and Rodon and even Luis Gil, who had Tommy John surgery, I believe. Um, but they're like, yeah, we do a 6-man rotation with Cole. But if they had to move somebody from lineup, Cortez, let him go to the bullpen, be a reliever, something like that. And then you just roll with Cole, Gill, Smith when he comes back from injury, and then you got Rodon and Stroman.
Cortez is giving up the most on the team, followed by Rodon, followed by Stroman. Home runs, that is.
Okay.
The most hits is Cortez, Stroman, and Rodon.
Yeah, like I said, Rodon is he's second on my list for the pitching. The Gill, Rodon, and then like I said, I'll put Stroman ahead of Cortez. I put Smith, Petit ahead of Cortez. Yeah, I bring Cortez off
He
the
has
bench in
the
the
most
bullpen.
errors.
If
He
he's
has the most runs.
if I had to get one the odd man out, he would be it. I don't
His
know if he's
EI.
still hurt or if he's still recovering from last year with the injury plague season that he had, and he's not, in the groove because he tends to get off the slow starts every time he pitches, and
Yeah.
that's what gets us. The slow starts hurt. That's what hurt us, almost hurt us in the first game of the season against the Astros when he gave up that or spotted them that 4-0 lead. But we came back and ended up winning that game. But yeah, I feel like he comes in, he gets off slow, but he gives up way too many hits, too many home runs. Um, I just, his earned runs are too high compared to other pitchers. I don't know. I just think that if they bring Cole in, he's got to be the one to step off if they don't do the six man.
Rodon's giving up the most stolen bases, followed by Stroman. Um, I'm trying to figure out if I can see how they. Oh, this is a good stat. Ground out to air out ratio. A pitcher's ratio ground outs to air. So Stroman's 1.19, Gill is point 0.6, Cortez is point 0.5, and Rodon's is point 0.5.
Hmm.
Grounded into a double play. Stroman has 9, Smith has 8, Cortez has 4, Rodon has 4. Um, Wild pitches. Oh, they got a lot of stats when you expand it. Nick Birdie has the most, followed by Luis Gill, Clay Holmes, Caleb Ferguson. It's 3-3-3-2. And then strikeouts per 9 innings. Luis Gill is getting 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, followed by Rodon at 8, Cortez at 8, and Stroman at 6. But
Like I said, man, Stroman don't strike out a lot of dudes, but he do, like you said, pop outs, ground outs. He don't go off
Cortez
rest.
Cortez has the least walks, and then it's Rodon, then it's Stroman, then Gill has the most walks.
It's hard to walk a guy when they keep hitting it every time.
That's messed up, Trigger.
That's the truth.
Cortez has the highest strikeout to walk rate, 4.44. And then batting average on balls in play. Gill at 1.86, Stroman 2.243, Rodon 0.249, and Cortez at 0.282. So he's last out of the starters. So that would be the guy that gets the proverbial bump, it looks like, as you said, Trigger. Your
Yeah, but the
analysis is
Yankees
correct.
organization, I wouldn't be surprised if they bumped Gill from the lineup when Cole come back. That's just something that they would do. It's something they talked about doing, I guess, before he took off and showed them what he's shown them. Because now he's slated to be an all star. Like dude, like literally came out of nowhere. But that's been the story of the season for the Yankees. I think, other than getting Soto and watching him completely transform our offense in the batting order. I mean, he's playing well. Judge is playing well. And when those two guys are getting on base, the Yankees have been hard to beat. Um, but I think the bigger story, and all that's great scoring the runs and everything and watching Judge and Soto do their thing. But for the Yankees, just because we weren't sure in the preseason, the chase for Yamamoto, who ended up signing with the Dodgers, the rumors of Blake Snell, former Yankees pitcher Jordan Montgomery being on the market, a lot of pitching woes and, just uncertainties going around about the Yankees in the preseason. What's that going to look like? Are they gonna go get somebody? Jesus Luzardo from the Miami Marlins was a name that popped up that Yankees could go trade for, and he surely will be on the trade block. Miami will be one of the teams that looks like they're going to gut their roster. They already gave up one of their great bats uh,
Yeah.
to the Padres, and Luis Reyes, I think that's his name. But the starting pitcher Luzardo is probably end up going to a contender. Um, because the Yankees pitching has been so good, they're probably out on them now. And I'm okay with that because we have been good. Although it's still early, things can still happen. I remember a couple of seasons ago, the Yankees started off hot, got to All Star break, and then they completely fell off. And that had to do with Judge getting hurt. And then some other guys got hurt, and that kind of followed. And we had no consistency in the lineups. We had different lineups every game, and it just felt like wins were hard to come by after that. So
Yeah.
let's hope the Yankees continue to stay healthy. We've battled a couple injuries. Right now for the starting lineup, Soto missed all three of those games against the Dodgers, um, so that didn't help things. Smith, the one of the other starting pitchers, went down uh, with a small injury. Garrett Cole is still working his way back. He's almost back. His return is getting nearer and nearer as the days go on. He's doing great in his rehab assignments, from what I've been reading, and he's been pitching lights out. Granted, it's not major league guys. They're a tier
Yeah.
under, but
Yeah, it's
encouraging
progress.
nonetheless. Making progress, no setbacks or anything like that. So that's the main thing. He's able to pitch comfortably. And then Jason Dominguez, the other Yankees bat that came alive late last year, has been rehabbing and has been doing wonderful. And they're anticipating him to be back soon as well. So the Yankees not at full strength, ladies and gentlemen. Best record in baseball
Best
overall.
ERA in baseball.
Best ERA in baseball. Aaron Judge leads the league in home runs. The Yankees lead the league as a team in home runs as well too. They also have given up the least amount of runs, and they scored the most runs, or the second most runs behind the Dodgers. The last time I
Best
checked,
batting average against.
before today's game, but stats have been updated since. But as of last night, the Yankees were second behind the Dodgers in total runs scored. They led all of baseball in the least amount of runs allowed, and like I said, lead all of
Runs.
baseball in home runs, and Judge leads individually in home runs with 25.
Y'all are y'all are number one in runs, number two in home runs. I'm sorry, no, you're not. You're number four in home runs. I'm sorry, that's hits. I'm sorry, runs. You are number one at 359. Hits, you're number four. Home runs, you are
Should be
number
number one.
two. Number two behind Baltimore. Baltimore at 107. Y'all at 105.
Okay, well, yeah, it's been close between us and the Orioles all year.
Followed by the Dodgers at 92. That's the second. That's the closest to y'all.
Great day. 15 runs.
Yeah. And run scored, y'all are up by 11 on the Dodgers, 359 to 348.
Okay. We had a couple high scoring games against the Royals within the last four games of that
On
series.
base plus slugging, Dodgers .778, Yankees .771, and then average, y'all are number five at .254. And number three in strikeouts, the Boston Red Sox. Hmm.
Speaking of, we saw the 3-game series with y'all tomorrow night,
Yeah.
and all games will be televised. Well, I think tomorrow night's ESPN Plus, and then I think Saturday and Sunday it'll be like ESPN and Fox, or Fox or ESPN, something like that. But all three
We're
of
going
those
to beat
games are
y'all.
televised,
We're
and
going to
then we
beat y'all.
go out of that right into a series with the Orioles. 4-game series with them. The first game will be televised. So again, 4 straight televised games with the Yankees. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. Um, but yeah, so we got you guys, which will be tough because it's division rival. Um, so those 3 games are not gimmies. Then we got the Orioles, which are not gimmies. Then we got the Braves. After that, let's talk about a gauntlet. It's gonna
Hey,
be a true test
Acuna
for
tore
the
his ACL,
Yankees.
right?
Huh?
Acuna tore his ACL, right?
Yeah, he tore his ACL. Spencer Strider, the pitcher, I think he's out for the year. I forget what it was for. It was Tommy John or someone's elbow. I don't know,
Didn't
but
they
yeah,
say
they
last time he
lost.
tore his ACL, they won? That's when the Braves won.
Maybe I don't know, but I know Cunha's out, and then Strider's out, and they got 3 or 4 guys on their roster who haven't been playing up to par compared to last year's team.
You want a gentleman's bet for this weekend series?
And baseball's such a wonky sport, man. Like
It's an
the
easy one.
best team will
Rafael
always
Davis.
win every time. That's why I
Rafael
don't.
Davis is going to have more home runs than Aaron Judge.
Who?
Davis is going to have more home
Rafael
runs.
Devers.
Going to have more home runs than Aaron Judge.
He might, because Aaron Judge go on the streaks where he'll go 5, 6 games in a row, hit a home run, and then he'll go another 5, 6 games where he don't do it. I would say he don't get hits or don't get on base, but then sometimes they might stop pitching to him. Depending on how Soto's at bat
Oh,
goes.
don't get scared, brother. Don't get
Ain't
scared.
nobody
Look,
getting scared. I'm being realistic with you.
we can put
Like
25
this
push-ups
this
on
streak
stream on
this
it.
streak is gonna come to an end at some point, and why wouldn't it be against the Red Sox, a division rival?
25 push-ups on stream.
If Soto goes or Volpe and Soto goes up to the plate and they don't get on base,
Oh yeah, Volpe.
they're not gonna throw the Judge if
Volpe
it's
was
in
good.
a
I
big
like Volpe.
spot.
I like Volpe. No, he don't need to
Yeah,
be in the big
Volpe's
spot.
been a great leadoff decision. 'Cause, like, he wasn't always leading off for the Yankees to start the season. They had Torres in that spot, and then they moved him. And Volpe has been lighting it up. Like he gets
Is
on
he still on
base.
his streak?
Oh no, that ended a couple games ago, but then he started another one. But then I think he went hitless today or yesterday. One of these games through, I think he went hitless. Maybe he did. Maybe it was against the Dodgers.
They
But
saying Insider says Yankees Anthony Volpe should be considered to start All-Star game.
I think so. He's played well enough to be in there. I was reading an article earlier today about that. The projected starters um, to get into the game, and I was surprised his name was not on the list. Like, obviously, they had Soto, they had Judge, they had a couple of Yankees pitchers, but I was really shocked to not see Volpe's name, especially given how often he's gotten on base this season and that ridiculous streak that he had. Just was it like double-digit
I think it was
games
30.
in a
Last
row?
time I heard it was 30.
He
I
was,
think.
he got a hit and got on base, so. I don't know, but I think he deserves it. If I had to pick myself, I would definitely put him in there with Judge and Soto. And I think about any other Yankees. I think about the pitchers. Luis Gil deserves it. Rodon is what I think he deserved to be an All Star. They got Clay Holmes in there.
Uh,
Whatever.
we're listed as the underdogs.
I mean, is that surprising?
We shouldn't be. I mean, it's at Fenway. The matchup
Yeah.
total was set at 9 runs.
Oof. Okay.
New York
Yankees
is
9
favored.
nothing.
I think y'all favored by 1.5. We gonna see. Well,
Oh yeah.
Trigger, we gonna see live and in the flesh. Well, not live in the flesh, but you get
Oh
me.
no, I know what you meant.
So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. So, Trigger, your ending words, your ending soliloquies.
Oh yeah. So one thing we didn't talk about really the NBA draft. That's going
Oh
to
yeah,
come
that's
up
this week.
later this month after the finals wrap up. I've been hearing a lot of noise at the 15th pick, which the Miami Heat currently own. There was talks about us getting Zach E potentially, but there's also been talks of us getting other players like other guards, shoot guards, point guards, maybe. And even rumors about us potentially trading away the 15th pick along with some other players and getting Donovan Mitchell. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like
I've
Miami's going
been
to keep
hearing
their
Jimmy
pick.
Butler's leaving.
Oh, I heard that Jimmy Butler, there's a feeling around the league that he wants to stay in Miami. And he's already
Oh,
come out and said that he loves Miami. He likes to be there. He wants to, deliver a championship and, finish what he started and continue to build all this thing. But I get it from the Heat standpoint, the front office, the whole money aspect, given his age and his injury history. You don't want to put a whole lot of money into a guy that's not going to be available when you need him the most. And this
yeah.
this season was a prime example of that. Like when we needed Jimmy Butler against the Boston Celtics, I still think the Miami Heat don't win that series. However, I think it's more competitive. Maybe it goes to a seventh game, goes down to the wire. The Heat go out fighting. They don't just get rolled like they did against Boston in the first round. So, um, but that's the battle that Miami's facing right now. Like, yeah, I think they want Jimmy Butler there. Jimmy wants to stay there, but financially, how can we make the numbers work to where we can give him what he wants at his age and help bring guys in around him to help us get to that next level to be a championship contender? Because this team, this past season, no matter how Eric Spoelstra wanted to slice it and how the front office thought, it was not a championship team.
Yeah.
It was not a championship team at all. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out this summer. Um, I think the first domino obviously will be the draft and see what they do. If they keep their pick and they make a selection to a guy uh, for their future, or if they decide to trade picks with somebody or trade that pick and a player or a couple players and go get some guys to bring in to help Jimmy. If they give Jimmy his deal, I don't know, but I think it all starts on draft night. Based on what Miami does on draft night, will kind of lead you in the direction of what they may do regarding Jimmy Butler and the rest of the roster. So we just got to wait and see
CBS.
what happens.
CBS got Jared McClain at
Yeah, he's
15.
one of the names I heard. There's other guy Holland from the G League. I've heard
I
as a
like Topic
candidate.
Triggers. I know he hurt, but 6'6" guard.
Yeah, he's projected to go before 15 from what I saw in
They
the
got
mock
him at
drafts.
12 right here to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I heard either 12, like in the first between 10 and 14, or he may be a top 10 pick, depending on the team and the need. I don't know, but yeah, he that was a name that I saw. He'll probably go. He'll be gone before he gets to us, unless Miami like tries to trade up or something like that. If
They
they
got
want
Zach
him,
Edey going to 21 for the trade from New Orleans, going to New Orleans with Zion.
yeah, that would be kind of crazy. I mean, I would love Zach Edey. The only thing that worries me about him is his mobility on defense. Like
Yeah,
he seems like a guy who does like he's won college player of the year 2 years in a row, but like, that's just come off of his offensive game. Like he's just throw it up to him, he goes and gets it, and he just scores over people with ease. But I love it from Miami for the standpoint that he can rebound. Offensive rebound was something that, that hurt us with other teams. Being a rim protector, just being in the lane, affecting shots. Uh, obviously getting rebounds, cleaning up misses, alley oop dunks. Everything in the paint. He's a great back to the basket player.
yeah,
But the only thing that concerns me is the defensive end. With him not moving as fast. He seems like he moves
yeah,
very slow. He's very methodical. Um, but guys and guards can blow by him on the opposite end, and his shooting ability or lack of. I don't see him shooting, threes or shooting anything outside the paint. And Bam's also a non-shooter, so teams can really pack in the paint. When we're on offense, it's gonna be hard to space the floor and get guys open shots when you got, Edie, Adebayo, Butler, three guys who don't really shoot. Oh, Jimmy shot the three a lot more this past season than he has ever. But still, I wouldn't mind Jimmy taking that shot if I'm the defense because, it's not like it's Steph Curry or, Kyrie or somebody like that shooting that shot. We're scared to death. Um, so, yeah, I let Jimmy keep taking that shot. I let Bam keep shooting that shot. He started to adopt that three in his game now. Edie, obviously, he don't shoot many of them or any at all. And there's nobody else on that roster that's really a knockdown shooter outside of Duncan Robinson and maybe Tyler Hero, who's very streaky.
hey, there's
Uh,
the top three in this draft is some height with Alex Sarr at 7'1". That's like another Wimby coming in. It looks like, well, height
mm-hmm.
wise, I don't know about skill.
Yeah,
Donovan Clingan 7'2" center,
yep. Yeah, I
and then
saw him
Zachariah
possibly
Richard.
going number one overall
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying it's a toss up
to
between these three.
to Atlanta, and I've heard rumors about Atlanta. They get the number one pick. They may trade out Trey Young and and rebuild, but with
I saw Trey
Murray
Young in Miami.
the number one pick. Yeah, they're talking about if Miami sent their number 15th pick to Atlanta with Duncan Robinson, a hero, or something like that, and getting Trey Young back in return. Like that could be something. I don't know if that helps get us to the next level because you think about Zach Edey, same thing. Trey Young can give us offense,
Yeah,
but on the defensive end, heat culture, they all about defense. I don't see him being
Do you
He's not a big guy, so I don't see him slowing down too many people on defense. But
do you think
offense,
it's something he can
absolutely.
learn, or it gives Jimmy a break on offense to
Oh
play
yeah,
more
he can
defense?
100% give Jimmy a break on offense, and Jimmy can give more on defense because Jimmy's a good
Yeah,
two-way player. And we had conversations about two-way players and stuff. It's not a lot of them in the league, but I think Jimmy is one of them. I think Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi.
Those are the guys
Yeah,
who come to mind when you think about two-way. You throw Paul George in there, because he's known as a good defender as well. So when they assemble George and Kawhi together, like, oh, this is gonna be the best defensive team and offensive team that ever, like all this stuff and the players they had around them, whatever. But yeah, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. Jimmy Butler, I look at, two-way guys, in
yeah,
today's game in the league right now. So, but yeah, Butler can definitely get after a little bit more on defense. If we had somebody like a Trey Young to come in and kind of carry the load offensively, that would be interesting. Like I said, I don't think it puts us over the top. I think
yeah,
it'd be a step in the right direction. I think we'll have to go out and get more. We still got to get bigger. I think that's Miami's biggest thing. I've been clamoring for them guys to get bigger for I don't know how many years now. And I'm tired of guys watching guys out rebound us and just whip us on the glass. And Bam Adebayo is out there, trying to go up against Jokic and
yeah,
Giannis, all these dudes who are bigger than them. And he holds his ground. That's why he's in the running and always on the defensive teams and in the running for defensive player of the year every year because he's taking on other teams, better players a lot of the times, who are these bigger guys who are way bigger than he is. But I think if we can get somebody in there just a little bit bigger that can match up with these dudes and put him at his natural position where he should be, which should be power forward, we may be able to get more out of him that way.
yeah,
Um, but he's been carrying the anchor for so long now, and it's like it's time for Pat Riley to address it.
yeah.
So that's my biggest thing. Like we've got the guards, and they're talking about getting deeper with guards in the draft. That's why I'm kind of half excited about the talent because there's going to be some good talent around at the 15th pick.
Yeah,
At the
it
guard
is.
positions, we do
Yeah,
need the depth, but I think we need more height than anything. And that's why the Edie pick, with him being the player he is, college player of the year 2 years in a row, you know. Coming in and giving us a boost on the offensive end, and, solving our rebounding issues and stuff like that. I like that about him. But, again, defense and shooting, what's he going to give me when it comes to those things? That's the thing, So I can't blame
yeah.
Miami for passing up on him if he's available and they do go out and get another guard. I just hope they
If
have a plan to bring in some size, whether that be through
if
free
Topic is
agency.
available, Trigger, a 6'6" point guard.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they took him either.
It's a
I
year, and
wouldn't
he had
be.
a year to get like acclimated, and
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset. But again, I just hope they have a plan to get bigger because
yeah,
Bam at the five is not the long term solution for this team. As much as I love Bam and his desire to want to, increase his range with the jump shots and shooting threes and all that, that's great. That shows that he's trying to be well rounded, get more weapons in the arsenal, and be more of a threat offensively because the team desperately needs it. Because outside of Jimmy Butler, if Tyler Hero's being streaky, who else is putting the ball in the basket?
yeah.
So Bam is trying to, you know, add more to his game so that he can be that for us. Um, but again, I don't think that's the answer long term. I don't think that's who he is. He's a defensive guy. He's an anchor. Get you shots around the basket. The little mid range is cool. I don't like him taking the threes too much. Um, so I get it. If they go and get a guard or somebody who can come in and score to help Jimmy out. But again, I just hope they have a plan to get this team, you know, some more size because again, we need that.
I'm telling y'all, watch out for Hardenstein coming to Miami in free agency.
I
That's
think
gonna
that's a good pickup. Guy come in off the bench or whatever and give you quick quality minutes, defensive,
been in the
gritty,
playoffs.
tough. Yes, absolutely. I would love him. I wanted to go get Bobby Portis when he was a free agent, but he re-signed with Milwaukee. But I like Bobby Portis and how he plays. He gives you size. He can rebound and he can score. He can stretch the floor. He can shoot the three. He
Savvy
got
vet,
that mid range. He can get in the paint. He's not afraid of anybody. He go at guys. He guard
and he was
anybody.
leading. Won't he
He's
leading in
got
Milwaukee and scoring in the playoffs? I
Probably.
believe at one point he
Maybe,
was
yeah,
leaked.
because when Giannis and Dame weren't playing, who else was, for Chris Middleton was still trying to find his way, it seemed like. So, yeah, Bobby Portis became very important to that team. But I imagine him in Miami, man. He fits the Heat culture, man. He really does. He's got the attitude for it. He plays defense, and he's gonna give you something on offense too. So he's very skilled to be the size that he is, and I think that if he's ever on the market again, Miami needs to go all in and try to get him.
Just wait for Clay to go to Milwaukee. Don't worry.
You got two injured guys, and two injured shooters in Milwaukee. Him and Chris Middleton. See who plays the most games.
Shoot, this was
Who
the
can
least
stay
amount of
healthy?
games they played, right? So the Golden State might be healthy.
Maybe.
Sure, you got a summer cold too, brother.
Yeah, picked it up at the beach. Unfortunately,
How you get a
started
cold at
with
the
the
beach?
kids and spread to the rest of us. So,
You got a cold at the beach.
yep.
Don't say that because I'm going to the beach next week.
Yeah, got a cold at the beach. I lost my Texan at the beach.
You what? You're texting?
Went to the
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
because
okay,
I
that's right.
won't get no text from nobody. Yeah,
Yeah,
I lost a lot of things when I went to the beach.
yeah, you done with the beach for this year.
Maybe shouldn't go anymore.
Well, all right, Trick. We gonna wrap it here. Hour in. We appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for
Yes,
rocking with
sir.
us as
Yes, sir.
always. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. Let us hear your thoughts, anything that you heard from us. And we'll see you next time. I'm Be Wise.
I'm Trigger.
And this has been Strictly Sports.
I don't know. Peace.